What is up, guys? My name is Pierce, and today I'm coming at you with Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, Week 5 predictions and betting tips. And as you can see, I'm rocking the London shirt for my boy Leon Edwards. Look at me now. The belt belongs to nobody. 10 fights unbeaten. Look at me now. Headshot buying. Shout out to Leon, coming through, even though he was getting his ass beat that fight, pulled that shit out of the Queen's ass. But lad, look at me now, from the trenches of Birmingham. All right, but let's get to this Dana White's Contender Series predictions. And last week, it was solid, 4-1 on predictions. Got a little screwed on the fight, doesn't go to decision on the Johnson fight, but overall, good week. Let's hope to replicate that this week. And starting things off, we have a women's 115-pound bout, strawweight bout. We got Denise Gomes versus Rayanne Amanda. And honestly, this one's a bit more difficult to cap, in my opinion, especially on the Amanda side, just based on the fact there's not much film of recent date. I believe her, like this fight right here, the Alexa Tainada, that is the last fight we have available to watch. So it's like we don't know how she's looked in the past 4 fights. But I mean, from the tape I saw, I feel like it's pretty easy to get a read on Amanda's game. I mean, I guess the best aspect to her is that she's scrappy. I mean, she's not really technical at all on the feet. I mean, her jiu-jitsu, I mean, she's decent off of her back. She likes to throw up that arm bar. But overall, I honestly don't know why she's on the Contender Series. I mean, as you can see, like her last 4 opponents, 0-0, 0-0, 0-5, 0-1, kind of shows her team's confidence level in her. Because if you think you have a UFC caliber fighter, why are you giving her 0-0 fighters? Like, I feel like that's kind of telling of her skill level. But in regards to her losses, I have noticed that she struggles a little bit defensively with the grappling. She can get taken down, and then she'll throw up an armbar off her back, and if she doesn't get that, she's kind of not really good at getting back up. And I've noticed in her fights, I mean, she is scrappy. I will give her that. She likes to bang, I guess, but I've noticed pressure fighters tend to get to her. She's not really good at range. She kind of needs to draw her opponents into a brawl, and even then, I don't really think she has power to hurt any of her opponents. But she's a scrappy girl, and I mean, in women's MMA, sometimes just being tough and durable will win you a lot of fights. But in regards to the matchup, we have Denise Gomes. And this was her tape was fun to watch. She is a very scrappy boxer. We'll point to this fight right here, the Melina Dudeva fight. Denise was actually down 2-0 in the 3rd round, and she fucking rallied fucking hard. She was working the body of Dudeva. She started throwing a 20-punch combination to the body, and she was able to get the knockout there in a fight that she was going to lose by decision. So, she does have KO power on the feet. It's deceptive power, I will say. But yeah, I mean, her striking, it's not the most technical. She kind of likes to brawl too, but I have noticed she does a good job of mixing in her punches with her kicks. I think I saw one of her fights. She dropped the girl with a front kick. So she is very good on the feet. And in regards to this matchup against Amanda, I think Amanda is very hittable on the feet. She doesn't really move her head that much, and I think if she doesn't move her head on Gomes and Gomes is landing clean, she might go down here. So. I think Denise Gomes in this matchup, she is going to be, I don't want to say the better technical striker because, both these girls aren't the most technical. But, yeah, I mean, she probably is going to win the exchanges with her power and aggression. But, I mean, grappling-wise, too, we saw Denise, who was actually recently in a grappling match. So, it's nice to see her testing her grappling. I mean, she's solid. I mean, she's good on top, very heavy on top. She has good ground and pound. She just does a good job of landing damage on her opponents. And in regard to this matchup, I think Denise's power is going to be one of the reasons why she wins this fight. I think her pressure, plotting style, walking forward, I think that's going to get to Amanda. And I honestly think Denise might get Amanda out of there with a knockout. So I'm going to go Denise Gomes we'll go second round knockout. And then I haven't looked at any of the odds this week. So we're looking at the odds. We got Denise, yeah, minus 275. Completely get it. Honestly, probably one of the more confident picks this week. I think Denise gets it done pretty easily. I mean, since it's women's MMA, we could keep an eye on the PO prop. I don't know what they're going to open it at on Bet Online, but I will look to maybe hit that if we can get a nice plus number. But yeah, I mean, women's MMA, don't go too heavy because at the end of the day, sometimes the tape lies in women's MMA. That's all I'm going to say. But I do think Denise gets it done. And we'll move on to the next fight. This is actually a very interesting fight. We got Cameron Saaiman, the South African, versus Josh Wang-Kim, Mr. Twin Dragons himself. All right, we'll start with the Cameron Saaiman side. So there's not much tape available on Saaiman. I mean, the South African regional scene, it's probably very difficult to get tape, at least not under a paywall. So I'm just going to go off of the limited tape I've seen. I mean, Saaiman, he's good. I mean, he's got a good pressure style. He's got nice ground and pound. He's very pushes a high pace. I will say that from the limited tape I've seen, he looks a little bit vulnerable on the feet. The striking defense is not the best, but I mean, overall, like you look at the level of competition that he's fighting in South Africa. I mean, we got 0-2, 0-2. 4-3, 4-4. His best opponent is 8-7, and that was an EFC title fight. I mean, he did go 5 rounds in that fight. Nice to see, but at the end of the day, it's like it's hard to really cap his skill level because just based on the fact that there's no tape, but also the fact he is 21 years old, so he's still very young in his MMA career. So I will say, if anything, he might be a little green here, but he'll bring a good fight. He scraps. The one knock on him, obviously, is the striking defense. He is there to be hit. And then that comes to his opponent, Josh Wang-Kim, who he's a karate style fighter. Josh Wang-Kim, he's the tape is very promising to say the least. Sorry about that. I don't know what this is. But yeah, he's a good striker. He likes to dart in and out, kind of like a Wonder Boy a little bit. He's got solid hands. That left hand of his is very nice. He's got a very interesting dynamic kicking game. He likes to throw a bunch of spinning kicks, likes to good kicks to the body. Also likes to go with some flying knees. He likes to hit you with some dynamic moves. But overall, I mean, his striking's solid. I will say, Wang-Kim, he does keep his hands down, a little bit cocky with that karate stance. I mean, that's how karate fighters are, like Stephen Thompson, hands down and everything. He relies on his movement to get in and out of the pocket. But I mean, Josh Wang-Kim, he's solid. I will say, you see this fight right here, Arnold Jimenez, he lost by illegal elbows. It was to the back of the head. And that fight, I mean, it was a close fight. I'm not going to act like Josh Wang-Kim was winning the whole fight and then hit illegal elbows. And I believe, if I'm correct, he was minus 2,000 in this LFA fight. So that's fucking wild. Sorry for everyone that had Josh Wang-Kim in their parlays that night. But yeah, I mean, in regards to the illegal elbows, that makes me like question like his fight IQ, because it's like if you're wanting to fight in the UFC, you can't be having mishaps like that. Like even this fight, I think it was with Jose Hernandez. He even was hitting some elbows to the back of the head as well in that fight, but the ref didn't say anything about it. But I mean, overall, I think Josh Wang-Kim has a lot of skills. It's just a matter of whether he puts it together. And then I haven't touched on his grappling. I think his grappling is actually really fucking good. He does a good job chaining submissions. He scrambles very well. I've seen him go for leg locks. He's very talented on his back. He'll go up for arm bars, triangles. So, you cannot be complacent on the ground with Josh Wang-Kim. And, I mean, in regards to the matchup, I mean, there's a lot of question marks on the Saaiman side. So it's like, it's kind of a guessing game to say what type of fighter Saaiman's going to be come Tuesday night. But I mean, watching the tape and then on paper, I mean, it's hard not to go Josh Wang-Kim here because he looks like he's the more skilled fighter all around. It's just a matter of whether he drops the ball or not. So I mean, I'm gonna go Josh Wang-Kim here. I want to say he gets the submission here. I don't know what type of submission because he does throw up a shit ton of stuff. But we'll go Josh Wang-Kim by a rear naked choke just solely based on the fact that not much tape on Saaiman. 21 years old, could be very green. I mean, Wang-Kim's very green too, but based on the tape I'm seeing, he's the more complete fighter at this point in time. Not to say Saaiman might not end up in the UFC down the line, but I'm going Josh Wang-Kim by rear naked choke in the first round. And then we'll look at the odds. It's interesting. Josh Wang-Kim says it opened plus 300. I don't know whether that line probably dropped like the second it opened. But yeah, I mean, we got Josh Wang-Kim right now, minus 215. Cameron Saaiman coming in at plus 175. I mean, the odds make sense. I think we can parlay Wang-Kim here. You know, he's just looks to be the more complete fighter. Very good fighter all around. Just the fight IQ. Just no illegal elbows this time, Josh. But yeah, we got to go Josh Wang-Kim by submission in the first round. All right. And then we will go to the next fight. I think it is Erisson and Ferreira. Yes. So we got a flyweight bout. We got Erisson Ferreira versus Jesus Santos Aguilar. Okay, we'll start with the Santos Aguilar side. You know, he's a Mexican fighter. I will say from the Aguilar tape, he is a grappler first, 100%. Striking is leaves a lot to be desired, and I think he's gonna be looking to get the fight down to the ground here, and not trying to be that guy, but as soon as I started watching the Aguilar tape, like a minute in, I was like, please let his opponent be good because this guy is not fucking good. And yeah, I don't rate Aguilar very highly, but I mean, we'll talk about the positives here. Aguilar, I mean, he's got a good single leg. That's about the only takedown he goes for is that single leg. I mean, on top, solid on top. I will say probably his best move is his guillotine choke. He's good at snatching up your neck. If you leave it out there for him, like for example, if you guys recognize the name Edgar Chairez, fought in Contender Series against Clayton Carpenter a couple weeks ago. Yeah, that was a 5-round fight, and I don't know what the scorecards would have been. Probably something along the lines of like 2-2 going into the 5th round. I don't know who was going to win, but Edgar Chairez just shot a retarded ass takedown with like 30 seconds left right into a fucking guillotine choke and he tapped. So that was a very low fight IQ move by Chairez. But I mean, you got to give Aguilar credit. He's got a good guillotine. I will say, I mean, other than like him getting the single leg and getting on top, I mean, his game leaves a lot to be desired. His striking, you know, he's not really good at range. He throws a lot of leg kicks. He throws a lot of naked leg kicks, and he's there to be countered. I mean, he plots forward. His takedown entries, I mean, they're not the best. It's kind of obvious when he's gonna shoot, but he's just been able to take down his opponents, kind of grind them out. I mean, his cardio is all right. I mean, he's not like a Merab Devashvili cardio machine, but I mean, he can go 3 rounds. I mean, you saw him go 5 rounds against Chairez, but even in that fight, I think it was like once the first 2 rounds, Aguilar was getting a lot of success with his grappling. And then from the 3rd round on, Chairez was just stuffing everything. Like all those takedowns were very easily defended by Chairez. But I mean, overall, I mean, you see the record of opponents that Aguilar is fighting. 6-1, 8-3, 6-2. I mean, good records, good wins, I guess. But like at the same time, it's like Combate Global, like the Mexican regional scene. It's like kind of hard to get an idea of how good these guys are. But I mean, Aguilar, yeah, I would say he is single leg or bust in this matchup. And with his opponent, we got Erisson Ferreira. Yeah, we got Erisson. You know, he's an older fighter. I believe he is 31. And this matchup, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Erisson Ferreira is going to probably want to keep it on the feet, and Aguilar is going to want to take it down. And in regards to Erisson Ferreira's game, you know, he likes to brawl, I guess you would say. He's got good 3-2s, has a lot of power in his hands. He's got a nice little body kick too. So it's like very powerful striker. He's knocked out a lot of opponents before. So it's like in regards to Aguilar, he's not gonna want to be on the feet with Erisson Ferreira because he's gonna be at a big disadvantage in the striking. Erisson's his grappling, I mean, it's solid. I will say he has a good sprawl. He defends takedowns pretty well. He'll sometimes try to defend it with a guillotine, but overall, like if he does get taken down, he does a good job of getting back up to the fence, getting up to his feet and separating. But yeah, I mean, this matchup, honestly, the more I think about it, it feels like a very tailor-made matchup for Erisson Ferreira. I think he will easily be able to defend Aguilar's takedowns. And if that's the case, I mean, it's hard not to see Erisson not get the knockout on the feet, considering how poor Aguilar's striking is. I mean, unless it's improved, I mean, he is young, could be making improvements. But I like to think Edison's being brought in for a win here, because as you can see, his last fight, it's just November last year, but on the Contender series against the Chinese prospect. I'm not going to say that name. But yeah, that was a close fight. I mean, he did get dropped in the first round, so I mean, his chin could be a little bit worrisome, but I don't think Aguilar is going to be the guy to knock him out. But I mean, in the Q fight, showed good cardio. He was able to go a hard 3 rounds. He was able to actually get grappling success against Q in the fight. And then, I mean, I guess I could see Erisson get takedowns here. We don't really know what Aguilar is like off of his back if he doesn't get the guillotine. But yeah, I mean, if I'm Erisson, I'm not even gonna attempt to take him down because knowing some of these fucking fighters, he could shoot and right into a fucking guillotine. But I will say Edison's probably gonna win here. I think he stuffs the takedowns. I think he gets the knockout in the second round on a gassed Jesus Aguilar. But yeah, we're gonna go Erisson Ferreira by second round knockout. And then looking at the odds, they don't have him up on fight odds, but if I recall on Bet Online, he is minus 245. His opponent Aguilar is coming in at plus 205, so minus 245 Edison. Solid. I agree with the line. I kind of expect it to blow up a little bit considering the massive advantage he has on the feet and the fact that I think this is a very, very good matchup for Edison. So we're going Edison, second round KO. All right. On to the second to last fight of the night. This is going to be a good one. We have Darrius Flowers versus Amiran Gogoladze. All right. Well, the big note here is that this fight is actually taking place at welterweight. As you guys can see, Darrius has been fighting at middleweight recently, so it's nice to see him slim down to the welterweight division. But yeah, in regards to Darrius Flowers' game, one thing that does stand out, massive punching power. I will say he has gotten a couple vicious knockouts on the regional scene. Like, yeah, as you see this Tim Hiley fight, beautiful uppercut from Darrius Flowers. And I will say he's always trying to set up that uppercut. That's probably his best shot, that uppercut to left hook combination. But yeah, he's got hands of steel. He's got good knockout power. As you can see, Gadley, another knockout. But one knockout I thought was fucking impressive as fuck. The Jonathan Thompson fight, hit him with a beautiful knee. Thompson got dropped fucking bad. But yeah, Darrius Flowers has fucking power in his hands. And I mean, outside of the fact that he has power, he does have decent wrestling. He has a lot of spurts of energy. He's very explosive in moments. He can go for an explosive double leg. He's got a decent trip takedown. And in regards to his jiu-jitsu, I mean, not the best at controlling dudes, but he's kind of good at just pushing you up against the cage, getting good ground and pound in. But one thing that does concern me, though, on the Flower side is in some of his losses, he has kind of shown some poor cardio. But if he can fix that up here, and the fact that this is at 170 could mean that Darrius is probably in the best shape of his fighting career. It's nice to see him drop down to his actual weight class. I think I saw an interview. He was saying he wanted to drop down to 155 eventually. So that's always nice to see. And I'm very curious to see how the power looks down a weight class because in regards to his matchup against Gogoladze, we got Gogoladze. He is a very interesting prospect here from Georgia. You know, he's boys with a lot of the Georgian fighters in the UFC. I've seen pictures with him with Taporia. I think Guram too, and Marab. But I mean, he can't. He's not training with Taporia and Marab. That's completely different weight classes. Actually, Taporia's a big guy, but that's relevant. But yeah, in regards to his style, I mean, Gogoladze, I mean, he seems pretty solid everywhere. I will say he's probably a striker first. We got it's a southpaw striker. I mean, he switches stances a lot, but yeah, southpaw striker. You know, he likes to hit you with that 1-2. He's got a good head kick. Very likes to mix up his kicks. But I will say, yeah, he does go to the kicks a lot. One thing I will say though, a lot of these dudes that he's fighting on the Georgian regional scene, it's like it's hard to tell how fucking good these guys are. Like the Murat Kemer fight, the dude just folded over after the first punch, and that dude was 5-2, and he looked like my fucking history teacher, bro. I really don't know how good these guys are that he's fighting, but I mean, he looks solid. Like he's got good striking. He's got good knees too. Likes to set up his knees, but I mean, he seems to have some power. And in regards to his grappling, I mean, his takedown defense is a bit worrisome at times. I have seen him taken down before, but I mean, offensively, he's got decent takedowns. I mean, he's decent on top. He's not really the best at like holding guys down, but he's more. I mean, he's got decent ground and pound. But I will say, he's kind of like he hasn't really gone through any adversity in a lot of his fights. It's kind of just him just bullying the other fighters, kind of being the hammer. So it's like it's kind of hard to tell how he's going to react to adversity here. Because the reason I say that is because I saw the odds. It's minus 365 Gogoladze versus plus 290 on Darrius Flowers. And I mean, do I think Gogoladze should be the favorite? I mean, maybe. But like minus 365, that is like he knocks him out in the first round type shit. Like I really don't know if Gogoladze, because like he's very reckless and he leaves his chin up. I have a weird feeling after running the tape that Darrius Flowers is gonna find that knockout blow. Ah, tough fight, tough fight. I will say though, the one if you want to be a little safer, it's probably gonna be chalky. Fight doesn't go to decision or the under like 2.5. I really struggle to see this fight go a full 3 rounds just based on the fact both these dudes are kind of front runners in regards to getting early finishes. And I don't think either of them has really a big cardio advantage. So I really think it's just gonna be who can get a fighter out first. And I think Darrius is gonna he's gonna land that uppercut, and I think he's gonna fucking sleep Gogoladze bad. So I'm going with the big underdog here and Darrius Flowers. In regards to like betting it though, keep an eye on the KO prop. I'm really looking to see what that number is. If we can get a juicy number on Darrius Flowers by KO, I mean, can't go wrong with that. But yeah, I would prefer the fight doesn't go to decision. It's a lot safer. But yeah, we're gonna take the big dog shot on Darrius Flowers. All right, and then that brings us to the last fight of the night. We have Eduardo Neves versus Michael Parkin. So we got the big boys here in the main event. And we'll start with Neves. I mean, he's young. I think he made his professional debut at like 18 years old or something along the lines of that. So straight out of fucking high school, man. He's already fucking fighting. Respect. But yeah, I mean, based on the tape, I mean, Neves got a lot of power in his hands, you know. He does have some decent elbows, you know, decent knees in the clinch. Solid. He does move his head decent, but I don't know how good these dudes are that he's fighting. I mean, his striking is solid, but like at the end of the day, the question marks I have here in regards to this fight is his grappling defense. Because I think it was this Joao Victor dos Santos fight. He got a second round finish, but that dude, Victor dos Santos, he got in mount on 2 separate occasions. He got the full mount in the second round. And I think Neves went for like a leg lock, and then something along the lines of that. And then he had just ended up on top, but that was a very bad look for him to be on full mount, even though he did reverse it. But it's like, I worry here about the grappling defense. I mean, yeah, he has a lot of power in his hands, so it's obviously like he could get the first round knockout here. But it's like you see all these like 1 minute, 57 seconds, 41 seconds. It's hard to really get a gauge on how good his cardio is because he's, like I said, like the last fight, can be a great hammer, but we don't know what he's like as the nail. But yeah, good striker. Grappling wise, I mean, he'll occasionally go for like some double legs, but his wrestling's not the best. I mean, on top, I mean, he's got decent ground and pound, but like nothing special. He is trying to look to keep it on the feet. And in regards to his opponent, we have Michael Parkin, the British heavyweight. If I recall, I do think he shares the training room with Paul Craig and Tom Aspinall and company, which is a good look to be training with top level heavyweights and light heavyweights in the British area. But yeah, I mean, in regards to Parkin, I would say he's more so a grappler first. He on the feet, I mean, his fundamentals are fine, but it's like he's very plodding and he kind of just leaves his head on the center line. So it's like he's there to be hit. I mean, yeah. I mean, he's got a good 1-2, I guess. But the MO here is going to be to go to the grappling because in most of his fights, he does get it down to the ground. And Parkins is able to transition them out and then finish his opponents on top. He is heavy on top, good ground and pound. But his for his wrestling, I mean, he really only goes for the single leg. But I mean, he's got a good single leg. I mean, tends to get most of his opponents down. So I mean, I think we know what the game plan is here for Parkin. I mean, he could strike with Neves, but yeah, I mean, Neves probably has him beat on the feet based on the speed advantage and probably has the power advantage too. But yeah, if I'm Parkin, I'm trying to get it down to the mat, exploit Neves' questionable takedown defense. And if that Joao Dos Santos dude is getting full mount on 2 separate occasions against Neves, I question what he's going to be able to do if Parkin gets to full mount because Parkin is very heavy on top. You know, he's got good ground and pound. He really does have good ground and pound. So I'm honestly going to go with Parkin just solely on the fact that he has a lot of grappling upside here. And I guess you could say fight doesn't go to decisions, probably the safer option since most of these dudes are not going to decision. They're getting a lot of first round finishes. But yeah, we'll go Parkin by first round TKO. And I haven't looked at the odds, but let's see what the odds are. Wow. That is interesting. Plus 205 Michael Parkin. Minus 265 Neves. I mean, I think it's a pick 'em, honestly. Just solely on the fact that we don't know what Neves' takedown defense is like. And I have seen on tape, Parkin will go to that single leg. I mean, on the feet, it does worry me. Yeah, he could get KO'd. It's a heavyweight fight. Could always happen. Neves is faster, but I mean, at plus 205, you really can't go wrong here. I mean, like, how is betting on heavyweight chalk been recently? Not good, I know. So, I mean, we'll go with another big dog in Michael Parkin. So, in regards to, we'll get into the betting tips. I think I'm gonna like Erisson Ferreira and Josh Wang-Kim parlay. Probably gonna pay a little even money, maybe plus money. Yeah, plus money. That'd be a solid parlay. I mean, if you don't want to play Wang-Kim based on all the question marks with the fight, maybe go Gomes and Erisson Ferreira parlay. That will probably bring you to about even money too. So, I mean, those 3 names that I listed, I feel like they're all good parlay pieces. Hopefully, we can get 2 out of 3 of them to win. And in regards to the dogs I talked about Darrius Flowers. Very interesting dog play here. I mean, at almost plus 300. I don't mind that, but I would rather honestly have the KO prop on the Flowers side because I think that's the majority of his win equity here is the KO. And if we can get like plus 500, plus 600, I would love to take a stab on that because I do think he has a lot of power in his hands. And him coming down a weight class, it's curious to see how that plays out for him. So keep an eye on the weigh-ins for that fight too. See how Darrius Flowers looks. And in regards to Parkin, yeah, Parkin plus 205. I mean, maybe see with that KO. I don't expect the KO to be too too high of a price considering it's heavyweight fights. But if we can get like a 4-1, 5-1 on the KO on Parkin, don't mind that at all. But honestly, yeah, we take like a 1 unit shot on Parkin and then a 1 unit shot on Flowers. I mean, shit, we just need one of them to win. But yeah, in regards to, we'll talk about some of the round props. I mean, for the Parkin fight doesn't go to decision, probably a good spot there. The Flowers fight doesn't go to decision. It's just based on the fact that we haven't really seen these dudes go 3 rounds, and I don't think neither of them has the style to really go that long. I think they're both killed or be killed. I just hope Darrius kills him first. And in the Wang-Kim Saaiman fight, I mean Wang-Kim by, I didn't mention Wang-Kim by submission. Keep an eye on that prop. I think it could be a nice prop. But yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be doesn't go to decision or decision because we have seen Saaiman go 5 rounds. And I like to think Wang-Kim's pretty durable too. But yeah, I'm not going to touch a totals prop on that. And then in the Gomes Amanda fight, we could maybe hit like a plus money under. I mean, Amanda has gotten finishes too, so it's like could see a woman's armbar from guard, or we could see Denise Gomes just knock her the fuck out. But yeah, Denise Gomes, look for the KO prop too. Curious to see what that's at. I think she has a good chance of knocking out her opponent here. And yeah, Edson Ferreira fight. Edson Ferreira take him by KO too. Hell, maybe if the fucking submission prop is like really fucking nice, like plus 10,000 or plus 1,000 plus 1,500, maybe like he could get a club and stuff, get like maybe like a guillotine. But who fucking knows with these props? It's a lot of the times it's just a guessing game. But I mean, overall, I think it's a very interesting card to bet. Obviously, tread lightly, bet at your own risk. But feeling good this week. I feel like we can hit some nice dogs, hit some solid parlays. And hopefully I see you guys next week. And that's it. Peace out, everybody.